Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another match reaction. Barcelona 1, PSG 2. Barcelona, we have lost against PSG, but I want to stay positive, guys, because I'm already looking at some of the reaction from social media, and there's a lot of negativity going around. And I want to make this match reaction. I wasn't able to have a watch along, so I do apologize for that. But I was working, and so I wasn't able to record. But I do have some time for a match reaction. I just wanted to make a video, sort of share some of the feelings, and address some of the, I would say, topics and some of the comments that are spreading around on social media. But before I get started on the video, guys, make sure to follow me on all of my social media platforms. Everything's posted down below in the description. Go over there and check me out. That way you can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. And as well, the link to become a member is also posted down below. But as always, guys, let's get started with the video. But moving on now, guys, I do want to be starting with the lineup, because Barcelona started as strong as we possibly could with the injuries. Now, I do want to address this, this rebuttal from people saying, "Oh my God, Barcelona they can't beat PSG's B team." Barcelona, they also have their injuries, guys. We don't have our starting keeper. We don't have Joan Garcia. Balde, he is injured. He did come on the second half, but Balde isn't fit. He's just coming back from injury. In the midfield, we do have our starters, but up top, we have no Fermin Lopez. Lamine Yamal is just coming back from injury, and we don't have no Rafinha. And so both teams are plagued with injuries. PSG, they also have their injuries. No Dembele, no Kvaratskhelia, no Marquinhos, and who am I missing? Kvaratskhelia, Marquinhos, Dembele. I'm missing one more. Fabian Ruiz, Joao Neves, no Joao Neves, but still, this is a game in which you saw the best of both teams, not necessarily the best players, but two teams playing at a very high level. In the first half, guys, I thought that Barcelona, they started really well. We were really energetic. We were creating chances. We were cooking PSG, and we created multiple chances. And if it wasn't for some better finishing, Barcelona, we could have gone into the half with a much better scoreline. Right here, Barcelona, they pressure Vitinha right here, and with a mistake from Vitinha, Lamine Yamal is able to give the ball to Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford gives the ball to Ferran, and he's able to score. And it was a great goal from Barcelona to open up the match. But unfortunately, later on after I would say roughly the 35-minute mark, roughly the 40th minute mark, when PSG, they do score, that's when they start growing into the game. PSG, they score off of a brilliant run from Nuno Mendes, and I have to give credit. He was absolutely terrorizing Jules Koundé, who I don't think had a particularly good game. He was getting absolutely cooked, but Nuno Mendes makes a great run into space. As you can see right here, continues on the run and gives it a pass. Kouarsi makes a mistake, a player who also, I don't think he had a particularly great game, and he's able to score, and PSG equalize. After then, PSG, I would say they were by far the better team in the second. Barcelona just not able to compete in that second half. And I'm wondering what switched between the halftime, but at the same time, I'm understanding the amount of football that these guys are playing, and I'm looking at the fatigue level and the energy levels, and it's understandable. PSG, they play in a weaker league. They're able to rotate. They don't have any competition in League One, and so when they're able to rest players for these big Champions League games, obviously they're going to be fitter. Van Lee, he says, you were hiding during the match today, bro. Van Lee, I was working. I couldn't make it a watch along. Apologies. I was working. Catalan, he says, high line in the 90th minute, take a point and say fair play, but that was shocking. I know. I was disappointed that Barcelona, we even at the last minutes of the match, we were still playing with such a high line. Take the point, man. Why is there a need to play with such a high line? You're looking at this right here. This is the second goal that we do concede. There is some controversy surrounding this goal. Apparently, the image that they're using is an image where Hakimi already, the ball has already left his foot, and so there is some controversy on whether Gonzalo Ramos is onside. But it's not going to change the game. Barcelona, they weren't necessarily brilliant in that second half. But I want to shield Hansi Flick here a little bit, because he has been receiving some criticism. One, right here in regards to his selection. Vanley, you say Hansi Flick got the back line completely wrong. The thing is, guys, we don't really have the squad depth and the signings that we do want. We have to remember that Hansi Flick, he was only really giving two signings, and that was Dani Olmo and Joan Garcia. Other than that, it's been relatively, nothing that Hansi Flick has been working. Hansi Flick has been working miracles with this team, and he's never really received, the financial support from Barcelona to make those big signings, to bring in multiple players. And, that's why I'm not going to bash Barcelona for the second half performance. Obviously, I'm frustrated because we lost, but, I want to look at the words from Frankie de Jong, in which he says, hey, guys, this is obviously it hurts to lose, but this is just a league game. This is a league game. It's it's not the end of the world. There's still a long way to go. Let me find the exact quote from Frankie de Jong. Let me see if I can find it right here. Frankie de Jong says it really quickly. Right here. He says, I think we are among the best clubs in Europe. And now they have won, but there is still a long way to go in the Champions League. And this match, although it was painful because we lost it, is not decisive. And that's 100% correct. It's not decisive. We missed certain players. We definitely missed Rafinha. We've missed Fermin Lopez. We missed so many quality players who I think would have made the difference. And we suffered for that. Jules Koundé, he says, I'm not surprised. Today, PSG showed they are the champions of Europe. They were superior today. And that's understanding. Jules Koundé didn't have a great game. A lot of players didn't have a good game, but Barcelona, they were still competitive. Very poor game from Martin, Cubarsí, Pedri, and Lamine in the second half. In regards to Lamine, he's coming back from injury. Pedri, Cubarsí, and Gerard Martin, these guys are playing so many minutes. What I'm more upset about is not the way that Barcelona performed, but it's the lack of support that Hansi Flick has been receiving. Because the discussion that we were having at the start of the season was that Barcelona, they were weaker. The squad is weaker than what was it at the start of last season. We've had Inigo Martin into the part. Other than the inclusion of Marcus Rashford and of that Joan Garcia, we haven't really strengthened the squad. You have a year-old Robert Lewandowski. You don't have a proper replacement for Inigo Martinez. Our fullbacks. We need some more depth in that area. In the midfield, injuries, etc., etc. There's still a lot of areas that we do need to improve on in this team. And I'm thinking, hey, if Hansi Flick has received the support that from the club, like the financial support, then we could have been in a much better situation. Thomas, he says the boys couldn't control the ball. It was strange to watch. I think it's fatigue, guys. It's fatigue. He says, on merit, Araujo should have started. Defenders have been going at Cubarsí for 3 seasons now. Mayulu would not run on Araujo. It was a bad performance from Cubarsí. It was a bad performance. I'm not going to butcher him. It's a bad game. It's a bad game. It happens. Flick also contributed to the loss by taking off Rashford and Pedri. Then the center-back pairing was wrong too. Cubarsí is in the UCL elite. He makes too many stupid mistakes that cost us. Okay, interesting. Here's why I sort of disagree with that. I do agree, that the taking off of Marcus Rashford and of Pedri has weakened the team. We have to remember, guys, these guys are playing so many minutes. Pedri has been playing 90 minutes consistently for every single game. It's you can't expect Pedri against PSG, the way that they've been playing and the intensity that they were showing today to be at 100%. And that's why I recognize the substitution of that. Marcus Rashford, I understand if Rafinha was there, you bring that in, but these are just substitutions that you have to make because they're tired. You have to make that change too. In regards to the center back pairing, we have to remember Cubarsí isn't a left-footed center back. He shouldn't be playing there. He's a right-footed center back. The best Cubarsí that we saw was out on the right, but he plays out on the left because we have no one to replace Inigo Martinez. He left because Barcelona did not have the financial fair play in order to bring in the left center back. And so, I'm not going to bash Cubarsí for playing a position that isn't his natural position. It's as simple as that. So mistakes have cost us. We shouldn't have been having that high line. But, I'm not going to be overly critical, guys. It was a loss. We take on the chin. We move on. It's the start of the UCL campaign. It's one game against the champions of Europe. And we lost at the 90th minute. It's not like we were blown away. Nothing like that. If we were clinical in that first half, we come away with a different result. If Danny Olmo scores this chance, you're looking at that game a little bit different. If Nuno Mendes right here, who should have been sent off, is sent off, then it's a different game. These little things happen. Barca lost fair and square in the second half. Our effort was pathetic for the first 30 minutes of the second half. I agree. Lucho won the tactical battle with a big margin. Both were missing key players for sure. 100% agree. Finally, he says we must replace Lewandowski. You can see Hansi Flick was terrified to put him, and he was right. He weakens the press. And that's true. Barcelona, even though Lewandowski is, absolutely fantastic, one of the best strikers in the world, we have to recognize he's 37 years of age. He's isn't going to be able to put the same press, the same intensity that Ferran Torres is. Obviously, you sacrifice some of the, goal scoring ability that you have, but that comes with the trade-off. And that's why Barcelona, they have to be looking out in the market to sign players. And in regards to Harry Kane, it'd be sort of very, very similar to what Barcelona did with Robert Lewandowski. Hopefully, that signing is able to go through. Harry Kane replace Robert Lewandowski, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be an expensive signing, and we don't even know if that's going to happen. But with the striker market, so weak, there isn't that many great options out there, and the strikers that we do want are at top clubs and would require a very, very, very pretty penny in order to sign them. We're probably going to have to stick with another year of Robert Lewandowski. But I want to address that really quickly, man. Hansi Flick was petrified to put in Lewandowski. He squeezed as much of the starters before putting him in. And I agree. I wasn't able to watch too much of the match, but I wanted to address that. I don't want to be overly negative on any particular player, guys. I don't want to bash anyone. The season is long. Yes, some of our players had poor performances, but we have to. What I look at is this team needs more support. This team needs more support from management, from the board. We need more signings. We need quality signings because if we are to compete on all fronts, we have injuries. You just look at it. No Fermin Lopez, no Rafinha, no Balde, Lamine Yamal just coming back from injury. Who am I missing? No Joan Garcia. Those are key players that would have made a difference in this game. The same thing goes for PSG. But PSG, they have the resources. Hey, if we need a center back, we can throw 50, 70, 80, 90 million euros towards a replacement. Barcelona, they can't do that. We don't have that. And so that's where I really want to put emphasis on, the board reinforcing this team because this is what they need the most. I know Danny Olmo, he didn't have a good game. I know this miss was absolutely atrocious. How do you miss this? He's been having a rough couple of games, but then again, if a player is going through a bad patch, you want to have the options off of the bench to replace him. And that's why in the weekend we saw Rooney Bardghji and we saw, Dro start for Barcelona. Simple as that. Vanley, he says, we don't need center backs. If tactically we need a left-footed center back, that is true. We do need a left-footed center back. Get the 6'6", 19-year-old for Palmeiras for 13 mil. We have to integrate Koundé centrally. Once again, I think Koundé has been absolutely phenomenal. Maybe, obviously he didn't have the best of games today. Last season he showed how quality he was in that right back position. Looking for a natural right back, a solid right back could be an option for Barcelona. But then again, it's a matter of do we have the funds, do we have the resources in order to go out and sign these players. But I wanted to address those things really quickly. Obviously, we're going to be talking more, about the match. Nuno Mendes, man of the match. Frustrating because he should have been sent off. Frustrating because apparently there's an error in regards to the PSG goal. But I don't want to be overly negative, guys. It's simple. It's a loss. It's a loss that hurts because you wanted Barcelona to make a statement in this type of match, but it's a league game, not the end of the world. We move on. Our players, some of them are still coming back from injury, and we move on. Simple as that. I don't want to be overly negative on anything. Flick's decision to sub out Rafinha instead of Ferran hurt us. We desperately needed a big transitional threat. Even though Ferran does provide some of that, he's not as rangy as Rashford. We also lost all 1v1 capacity too. If we play Ferran at left wing, he needs to operate like Rafinha as a secondary striker. But we needed someone capable of oscillating out wide, especially since we were struggling to keep possession. Yeah, hurts. One thing that frustrates me about this club is that we can never just take a point and avoid a loss when we play terrible. I just knew we would concede at the end. It was the most obvious thing ever. In the end, quite a deserved victory by PSG, has to be said. Barca in the first 35 minutes are the best team in Europe, but the one after that, whatever happened, we sank completely. Not the end of the world. We move on and keep fighting. I agree. It was as simple as that. The positive, it's a good time to have that performance, to be made aware of the team's physical limitations, and to be exposed to that kind of pressing scheme. Worth thinking about plus one midfielder, adding a midfielder, and a different approach in these type of games. Interesting. Returning to the Camp Nou soon. Yes, hopefully in the next upcoming weeks, Barcelona, we are able to return to the Camp Nou. And, returning to the Camp Nou will be a huge boost to our finances, guys. That's going to be absolutely massive. I absolutely cannot wait to see Barcelona return. And, that would help us tremendously. Flick is also forcing this Pedri de Jong pivot every day. Casado is losing confidence. Pedri is being overplayed. See, we're in a dilemma because you want to play Marc Casado. I do think we need to rest Pedri more often. But when you're looking at the games that Barcelona they do have, you're thinking, when can we rest Pedri? Because he's so good. He's just simply the best midfielder in the world, and you want to be playing him constantly. This game is a coaching loss for Flick and a coaching win for Enrique. Tactics versus tactics. I know Flick felt this one. Yeah. Big factor. The atmosphere at the Montjuïc is not fiery. The aura is not there despite the 50,000. It's an eerie atmosphere. I will say that. It's completely different to that of the Camp Nou. And, when Barcelona, we do play those knockout games in the Champions League, when we, are under the big lights, we are going to be back in the Camp Nou, and hopefully by then, things will be much better financially. Hopefully we make some signings in the January transfer window, because I do think we need to. I do think we need to bring, one attacking player, another midfielder, another defender. I do think this team needs reinforcements. I don't think this squad is strong enough, to win it all. I do think that we can compete against anyone and beat anyone on the planet. We saw that, in the matches that we played this season, in the matches that we played last season. But if we are to compete on all fronts, then we need a deep squad, and I don't think this team has that. I think if you are going to compete on multiple fronts, your players are going to be overplayed, fatigued, and that's where you see sort of I would say lackluster second halves, because when you saw that first half, when you saw the effort and the intensity that this Barcelona team put, it's it was very clear. The Lewandowski factor is scaring the hell out of me. Yeah, I know. I wish it was a prime Lewandowski, but it isn't. Simple as that. Barcelona, we are going to be having to look a replacement for him. He's still one of the best strikers in the world. I'm still very adamant about that. But he's a player that we do need to obviously look to replace, because he's not going to be here forever. But guys, I just want to make this video sort of share some quick thoughts about the match. I know we're feeling frustrated and a little bit disappointed about the result, but it's not the end of the day. It's a game that was very competitive. The two best teams in Europe fought it out. And unfortunately, we ended up with a loss. I'll be back tomorrow with some more reaction. Thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys all on the next one. Peace out, guys.